Right, guys, welcome to the first AKM After Hours video with myself and Seano, and we are joined today by a very special guest. This man is a historian, a lecturer, a former Liverpool LFC TV presenter, a radio presenter, and now has his very own YouTube channel, Mr. Frank Caryle.
Yay!
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too bad, man.
Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for the introduction. Wonderful. I hope people don't expect too much now.
No, it's all good.
You forgot to mention that he's also a TV and a film critic. I mean,
all right, yeah.
People need to tune into this channel, and I've been saying it to Frank for ages. I don't understand why that man is under 1,000 at the moment. We need to get him at 1,000. So please subscribe to Frank Caryle. Amazing. He does his. I'll just go through basically your programs that you go through, Frank, just so that I have this right. So you have your Monday show at 8:00, which is the History Channel. You have Tuesday and Thursdays at 8:00, which is the football, which I'm like absolutely into. And then you have the current affairs one on the Friday. And then Saturday morning, if that wasn't enough for Frank, he then does the movie and the TV critic thing at it's 10:30, isn't it, in the morning?
10:30, yeah.
Yeah. And then if there's a film or a football match, he'll review that as well. So the man is just throwing out the content, and it's incredible. So Mr. Liverpool himself, Frank Caryle.
Yeah. So also, guys, I'm going to put a link to Frank's channel down in the description below. So obviously go click on it and go subscribe to Frank's channel. So Frank, Seano obviously has told me a fair bit about you, and I've been on your channel as well and had a chat and a conversation with you. And I think, as Seano was just saying then, I hope that my channel can get yourself out there to a few more people, because you have a wealth of knowledge and people need to find your channel and know more about you and everything. So I kind of want to start this off with just a few questions about, like, how are you finding the beginning of the season under Arne Slot after Klopp and everything? Like, you know, when Klopp handed his notice in, shall we say, and it was going, everyone was kind of, oh, this is it. It's going to be Alex Ferguson all over again. And then Arne Slot's just come in, and it just feels like he's been a breath of fresh air. And I've been saying to Seano a couple of times now as well, like, it also shows at the same time Klopp's genius by knowing that the club needed a change at the same time, in my opinion, anyway. But yeah, I'll just hand it over to you, Frank. What's your thoughts on what Arne Slot at the moment?
Well, when I heard the name Arne Slot, whatever his bloody name, well, he said, my proper name, how to pronounce my name is Sloot.
Sloot, yeah.
So I call him Sloot. So anyway, I'd never heard of the fella. Not an inkling. Never heard of him. It's like picking someone from the middle of China, Yin Ping or someone like that. No one has ever heard of this fella. And then Jurgen Klopp, you've got to look at what the legacy of Jurgen Klopp. And you've just got to look at that and what he brought to Liverpool. You know, we were screaming out for the Premiership, and he got it. Then we were screaming out for another Champions League. He got it. He got everything. He won absolutely everything for Liverpool. And whether I'm controversial or not, I don't know. But he could have won a lot more and should have won a lot more if there would have been investment. And this is what we were screaming out for. This is like people who I know. We were screaming out for investment. But we always get behind a team. Even if Sloot, you know, if he would have started off badly, we would have been behind him, because we get behind everybody. Yeah. Everybody, whether it's a manager, whether it's a player or anything, we get behind. But most importantly, we get behind the team, the 11 lads that are playing. on that pitch for us.
Had you concerns, Frank, of just how things were slightly dragged out in the media and just the process of actually finding our man and then finding the backroom staff and how drawn that was? Or were you just thinking, look, what will be, we get behind whoever?
Well, the point is, it was the way Jürgen left. There was a sour taste there. Not with Jürgen himself, but with the club.
Yeah.
With the owners. There was a sour taste there. And why did he go? I have my own reasons for why he went, to be honest. Because this is Liverpool Football Club. I go back years. I go back to when we won our first FA Cup in 1965. I was, went down there with members of my family and seen them win this beautiful silver trophy for the first time ever. And when you look at that, then you fast forward to everything else that we've done until Jürgen Klopp came. And when we done more, if you know what I mean. So I go back quite a lot. And I've seen the ups and downs. I've seen the ins and outs. I've seen everything involving Liverpool Football Club. Everything. And all it boils down to with the likes of, look, this might be controversial to some of your listeners. When Edwards left, just bear me out on this. When Edwards left, he said, I'm going. And he left Jürgen in the lurch. So Jürgen just said, okay. And then Ward came about, to give him the job. 6 months later, he left. Think about it. 6 months later, he left. Then, all of a sudden, they're back again. The pair of them, more or less on the same day. And Jürgen, he's looked at this and gone, how can I work with two fellas who left the club? Because to me, if you leave Liverpool Football Club, it's bye-bye, don't come back. Shut the door behind you.
Yeah.
And that's it. That door's locked. It's the way he left.
It's funny as well how you say about the Edwards and the Ward stuff, because I think I'm of a similar opinion to you. When Klopp left, I think Edwards was already on his way back, and that's why I personally think he got wind that FSG were talking to Edwards and that, because obviously Schmatka was on like a short-term contract, and I think he's gone, are you having a laugh? No chance. And that's probably, and I think as well, that was probably the last nail in the coffin for it, because I think there's other things that have pushed him over the edge. Like, I think the whole Bellingham thing was a farce. We were told for years and years and years that we were saving money for Jude Bellingham and doing this and doing that. From what I'm aware of, Bellingham's entourage or whatever were in Liverpool. And then literally 24 hours later was when Paul Joyce and all the journalists came out saying, "Oh, we're not interested anymore." Now, people think that he rejected Liverpool and wanted to go to Real Madrid. But I personally, why would he or his family or whatever travel to Liverpool at the club's expense and stay wherever they were staying and go, you know what, we're not interested? It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen.
The only thing, he wanted to play for Liverpool.
Yeah, he did.
He's always wanted to play from a little kid, knocking the ball around in the street or whatever, pretending to be a Liverpool player. Liverpool, he supported as a child, growing up. Even when he was in Germany, he supported Liverpool. And he couldn't wait to come to Liverpool. That's why his family came up to Liverpool to have a look around, to see where he was going to live temporarily while he looked for a place of his own. And all of a sudden, we're not getting them. Listen, the Americans are fantastic, no matter what profession they're in. Even if you're an actor, everything, it's a spin. They spin everything. And people, unfortunately, Liverpool fans, they believe it. They believe in everything they say. And then it just carries on. So, yes, there's more to it. One of the lads on my chat, it was when he gave his final speech down at, you know, the arena down at the pier head there, and it was chock-a-block. And I was talking, you know, I was saying on my pod about this, you know, about him leaving and whatever. And this lad came on, he said, oh, I was there, you know, and he told us why he left. And then he said, you know, and it says in his little comment, you know, why he left. I said, do you believe that? Do you think for one moment that Jurgen Klopp would come out, sit down to lots of fans, Liverpool fans, and give out the truth why he left?
No.
Do you really believe that?
No.
The fella who... Go on, sorry.
No, you're okay, Frank. And I think a lot of people think that, you know, that at face value, what is said by Klopp or what is said by any manager is gospel. When, I mean, let's face it, if you're there talking about your boss or whatever, you're not going to say, well, my boss is this or my boss is that out in public. You're not going. You're just not going to do that. You've seen the likes of Tuchel doing it. You've seen the likes of Conte doing it when they were managing Chelsea and Spurs. And where are they now? You know, so we know that Klopp wasn't going to do that. But definitely, I mean, what do you think about the appointment of, what's his name, George Smack or Smackey or whatever?
Smackey, yeah.
Okay. What did you think about that? Was it a fiasco or?
Well, he was German anyway, you know, so Jurgen Klopp knew a little bit about him, you know, what he could bring to the table and whatever. But it was only a 6-month contract. So you look at that and say, a 6-month contract? I've never known that in my life. 6-month contract at Liverpool Football Club. So there was something brewing behind that.
Yeah.
There was something brewing.
Edwards.
Because I'll just say this, you know, as Adam said, what do you think of the, you know, the way we are at the moment, top of the league, top of the Champions League as well? It's going great, absolutely wonderful. Don't forget, a month or two before Sloot was appointed, he was popping up on the telly in Holland and going, I want to be Liverpool's next manager. So everything was started to come in place then. The backroom staff, everything. Because I was going mad when Hughes was appointed, you know, from Bournemouth. I'm going, hold on a minute, we're Liverpool Football Club. And they're appointing a fella from Bournemouth who's absolutely zilch. So we're appointing them. So I'm fuming here. But then I find out that, think about this, that Sloot, Hughes, Edwards, the three of them are friends. The best of buddies. You know, so that was with this Amarim and Xabi. They knew Xabi wasn't going to leave Bayer Leverkusen.
Yep.
They knew that. They knew it. So there's the spin started already. Then all of a sudden, Sloot's name came up, and everyone went, "Who? Who's this fella?" So everything was in place. It's mechanical, if you like. You know, mechanical. You just wind a little toy up, and then you've got your finger on it, ready to take your finger off, and it moves. And that's the way Liverpool were. They were already in place, the backroom staff, everybody. And all as they had to do was to come in and just say, okay, because he's got the players. He had the players. Every single player was under Klopp. The only player that came in the summer was an appeasement. I keep saying this.
Yeah.
It was an appeasement. Io parlo molto lingua italiano molto bene. Right. I followed Serie A. I'm half Italian on my mother's side. So I follow it, right? Point is, I said on my pod, as soon as his name was mentioned, why are we going after him? Right? I said, and if we get him, it's an appeasement to the fans, because every Liverpool fan globally said, aren't we buying anybody?
Yeah.
We need to buy somebody. So it was an appeasement. And I said at the time, he's injury prone. You will not see him perform for Liverpool. If he does, it'll be stop, start, stop, start. Just like the wonderful Thiago.
Yeah.
And that's what I said.
Yeah. I just want to go back on a few things you mentioned about the summer window with Schmatke and stuff like that. I think as well, like, in that window as well, when we got told we weren't signing Jude Bellingham, the spin war at the time, they didn't want to spend as much money on one player because they needed so much more of a rebuild for the midfield. So when they went out and signed Szoboszlai and McAllister straight away, I was like, okay then. I've always liked Szoboszlai. Maka seems to be a decent player for Brighton. I'm not asked. And then, out of the blue, John Henry comes over to Chelsea for the game.
Oh, yeah.
After Liverpool have bid 115 million for Caicedo, which is more than probably what it would have cost to have signed Jude Bellingham. And you've just spent 90 million on other midfielders. And then obviously we still went and signed Gravenberch and Endo.
But we're looking.
It don't make sense in my head regarding how they couldn't afford to sign Jude Bellingham because they wanted to sign other midfielders. But then they signed the other midfielders, but then still managed to pull 115 million out to go sign Caicedo. And I know that people turn around and say, oh, they just did that, so Chelsea paid more money. It's business. If Chelsea had not upped their bid, were Liverpool just going to turn around and go, we're only joking? No. Like, do you know what I mean?
Well, that's it. Look, remember when Jürgen said, after we never signed him, and I don't know whether he just left or just before, he said, and this is pivotal, he said Jude Bellingham would have been the final piece in the jigsaw. That's what he said. In midfield. That's what he said. You've only got to look, Adam and Seano, you've only got to look at this. In the summer, right? And the spin was brilliant. Absolutely wonderful. Like a big spider, spinning its web and bringing in all the little things, around for them to gobble up anyway. And it was Zubimendi. Zubimendi. Now, we needed him because we still do need a number 6. We still do. Defensive midfielder. We still need one. Now, where's the problem with Liverpool? They're El Presidente, right? The president of the club. He said, okay, you can have him, but we don't want any negotiations. We don't want any this, so much now and so much again and so much again. We will just give us the money and you can have him. Now, that was it turned around about, around 40 million, 50 million, whatever it was, anyway.
Yeah, I think it was around about, or maybe 51 or something. I can't remember. Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
So why didn't we pay? Why was it all negotiations? Because it was planned. It was planned to tell you, Seano, me, every other Liverpool supporter who'd be looking at this to say, at least we went after him. That's no good. At least we went after him.
That seems to be a signing in itself for Liverpool, though, Frank, doesn't it? I mean, it's the problem with Liverpool, as I feel right now, and certainly under these owners, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree with this, and maybe you can give me your review on it. But you mentioned that FSG manage expectations, but isn't it so much easier and more effective when you have your own managing the expectations for them? You have YouTubers, podcasters, journalists that I call the toe-the-liners, those who are towing the corporate line to keep their exclusives with the club, keep their perks and what have you, and spin out this. And the one thing that is frightening is it dumbs down the fan base, but it's like this positive stuff. It's like it's almost too positive at times, but it's dumbing down the fan base, and it's almost like, well, if you have a difference of opinion, go support someone else, and that shouldn't be what football is about. What's your view on that? Do you disagree, agree, or?
No, you see, look, I've been told many times to go, and I've been called a plastic fan. I've been told to go and support. As I said, I go back to 65. And I've been to millions of European Cup finals. The thing is, you see, when you get told to go and support another club, it's like a conspiracy theory. Just bear me out on this.
Yeah.
If you say something, whether it's whether say like what's happening now in the Middle East or in the Ukraine, and you go and you say something, and someone will just turn around and go, "Oh, that's a conspiracy theory." So no matter what you say, we're conspiracy theorists against whether it's against a player like Jude Bellingham, for example. Now they believe that Jude Bellingham was heads was turned by Real Madrid, like Shoemini. Shoemini couldn't even get a game for Real Madrid. Can't get a game, if you know what I mean. So sorry, go on.
No, he was a player I was going to mention about, another one that Klopp missed out on. That, as far as I'm aware, that one was pretty much nailed on until, again, Liverpool pulled out.
Just think about it. It's the spin. They're fantastic at spinning, Adam. That's what it's all about. Look, listen, I've never once said, believe it or not, you might laugh here. I've never once said FSG out. And someone said that I was a plastic fan and go and support someone else because I was supposedly said FSG out. And I said, you look at any pod, talk to anybody who I know, and tell me when I've said FSG out. Because that was another spin. And it was great the way these are the Americans. And as you said, Seano, these media people, these little podcasters and everyone else, they believe it. And they just turn around and say, why are you saying FSG out when you don't say it? The only thing I do is criticise them, and I'll criticise them now, I'll criticise them tomorrow, I'll always criticise them until they finally pack the bags and go.
I think a real telltale sign, and I don't know whether you guys agree with this, is that when you have the likes of these journalists, the likes of again, these podcasters and YouTubers that are going and doing the circuit and almost like, well, this is only a small minority of so-called fans. They're not real fans. I mean, we saw the plane over Anfield, the FSG out and what have you. Neil Milner came out and went on Sky Sports and said, these are a small minority. These aren't real fans, and then you had the top two YouTubers that went out and, spoke in criticism of these people. But it's almost like as if you cannot have a difference of opinion. And it gets thrown out so much. And I know this is going to get Frank going here, but they saved us. But they saved us.
That's look. I'm not mentioning the group, but I think you all know
Yeah.
They came out and said that, and people believe me.
Yeah, I know.
Saved us from administration, and you can go to the Royal Bank of Scotland, who came out and commented that Liverpool Football Club would never had gone into administration. That's what they said. So how are they saving us? And look what they've done for us.
Yeah.
You know, they built a fine stand, the main stand. But the other one is an absolute disgrace. The window sills are still not on them. The window sills are still not on them. The brickwork is shoddy. Everything is shoddy about it. Shocking it is. And look what they've done for us. AXA Air Training Centre up in Kirby. No, I'm telling you now. AXA sponsored it. Not them. Not them. And, you know, if we do need money, they lend us the money and we have to pay it back with interest. And I was on I don't know, I just comment. I don't go on pods, to be honest. And I put on a comment, and, you know, someone said, they don't take a penny out the club, the owners. That's who we're dealing with, unfortunately. That's who we are dealing with every single day.
Yeah.
I'm always like, for instance, I'll praise FSG when I see something. Like, I do think that the club has started generating more money in commercial deals and everything else like that since they've come in. But the reason why they're doing that is to increase the value of the club. So when it comes to the time where they can sell it, they're going to be like, ka-ching, like, already, like, they bought the club. What was it for? 300 million? Was it like that? Something like that?
Yeah, 300, yeah.
We're valued now, the last time I checked, at 5 billion. Like, how much more money do they want?
Well, the point is, you see, they will sell. They're
100%.
going to get an offer they can't refuse. And the offer, you see, look, again, it's controversial. Because you have a hell of a lot of Liverpool supporters here in Liverpool, by the way, who say, look what they call Manchester City. The oil barons, right? The oil money, right? So you've got that. Then remember Chelsea. Even people still call Chelsea. As which, you know, Chelsea is not, ski is not a Russian word, if you know what I mean. And I put loads of people on that. I said, what's this Chelsea? Are you fucking, sorry to swear.
That's fine.
But are you right? Chelsea, well, you know, and these are people that I have to contend with. And I can't believe it. Listen, the same people who were saying oil money, the same people who I know were doing backward flips when we were selling to Sheikh Maktoum and DIC. They were cartwheels and everything. Oh, we've got loads of money, all this. And what happened? Hey, what happened? Hey, you know, we sold to them. I know the story, by the way, the proper story that Tommy Smith, the late Tommy Smith, told me. I was in a documentary with him. And I was in a documentary and we was just sitting down talking. You know, no cameras rolling or anything. Yeah. And he told me the full story, why he sold. This is David Moores. He sold to Ix and Gillette. And it was through sheer jealousy over Rick Parry getting brought over to the palace of Sheikh Maktoum. And he said, well, when he phoned him up, why do people do that when they say a phone? But anyway, when he phones Rick Parry up, he said, "Where are you?" He said, "I'm in the palace." He said, "What are you doing there?" He said, "Well, you know, he sent for me." He said, what about me?" He said, "Well, you know," he said, I'm flying back with them on Sunday. They were going to sign on the Monday for Liverpool Football Club. And he said, "Well, fucking get your ass over here now. I mean it, get over here now." Because what he turned around and says, and Moores didn't like it. And he said, "Well, you're only the chairman in name now. You're nothing." That's exactly what he said to him. So he said, "Get over here." See the phone? Like, "Get over here now," he said. And he said, "Well, I'm coming. Get over here now." So we had to fly back. And while he was flying back, he got hold of Hicks. And Hicks wanted to buy Liverpool before. He wanted to buy Aston Villa and he wanted to buy West Ham, if you remember. And they were back-heeled. He was back-heeled, sorry, by the three of us, you know, West Ham, Aston Villa and us. And he phoned him up and said, "Put in an offer." He said, "What about DIC?" And he went, "Sod them, put in an offer of more than," I think it was like 311 million, and the club's yours. He said, "Can I bring in a partner?" He said, "Bring in whoever you want, as long as you make that offer." And he made the offer and he sold it. And do you know how DIC found out? On Sky Sports on a Sunday.
Don't surprise me.
And it was there, and but it was through the ticker tape. You know what goes underneath? You know, all these little things, messages going along. Liverpool Football Club was being sold to Hicks and Gillette, American businessmen. That's how it was. They never even informed them.
Do you think? Sorry, Seano. Do you think that? Well, just going off how I'm stumbling over my own tongue now. Do you think that possibility of DIC is dead now completely? Do you think that I'd ever get picked up again?
No, it's not dead. Because the two nephews of Sheikh Maktoum are still Liverpool supporters.
Yeah.
And they love Liverpool Football Club. And that's who the Sheikh was going to hand them over to. He'd run the club. Now, we've got, I think we're the only club in the world, through this, we're the only club in the world that we haven't got a chairman that sits in his room.
Yeah.
We're the only club in the world. He's a nothing man, Werner, a nothing man. And he's getting lots of big bucks, as they say in America, for doing absolutely nothing. Even a steward, Liverpool steward, the last time he was over, the time before, he said, "Excuse me." Does you like the American accent?
I love that.
"Excuse me, can you tell me where the office is?" And he said, "What office, Mr. Werner?" And he said, "The chairman's office. I just don't know where it is." And he brought him a lot. That's our chairman. Didn't even know where the office was.
Do you know what, Frank? I actually can visualize Tom Warner's voice sounding like that impression that you've just done. So I think that's a fairly accurate impression. So I think we need to put impressions or Tom Warner impressions to your many list of skills there, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
What about the Fishman? Because
wait.
Can I tell the story?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
This is genuine. When I was on LFC TV, me and Ian St. John, we became very friends, the Saint and I. Anyway, we was reporting on taking calls in after the Tottenham Liverpool game at Anfield. when Bale scored, you know, Christian Bale scored, and we got beat 2-0. Anyway, so we were there and took the calls. And when we left the studio, he said to me, "Do you fancy coming around the corner for a drink, Frank? This is the Saints." I said, "Yeah, sure, you know." He said, "I've got to see my son, you know, he's doing this corporate stuff." I said, "Okay." So we goes in to this pub. It's not a pub, like, it's the Bar and Grill in Liverpool, you know, the city centre. So we goes in, and there was one fella in there, and he was right up at the bar at the other end. So me and the Saint walk in, we're having a drink. And the next, the airs like American, and now I'm standing here, and the Saint is looking at me, and he looks over like that. He goes, "There's John Henry over there." I went, "Is he?" So anyway, you know, I'm upset that Liverpool got beat, by the way. And then I turns around and I walks over to him, and Henry, the fish man, you know, he's standing there. And I went, "Hello, Mr. Henry." And he looked at me, you know, and he put his hand out. You know, I put my hand out to shake his hand. He put his, and it was like a wet fish, his hand. Nothing there. There was nothing. It was just like a little wet fish. And I went like, "We need players." And he went, "Everything is in hand." And I went, "Oh, well, okay, so everything is in hand, is it?" I said, "You see that man over there?" And Singh was standing at the bar with his glass of beer, you know. I said, "That man," I said, "if you could get anyone like it, he's a true Liverpool legend, known all over the world. The Saint, going back years, he's known all over the world." And I went like, "That man over there." And the Saint thought I was calling him over. You know? Just pointing at him. So he came over. The Saint came over. And as he was coming over, now I told the boatswain, you know, the fishman, how St. John is a legend. And I told him his name, Ian St. John. 3 times I told him his name. So when he got there, I went, "Yeah, it's the legend, Mr. Henry." And he went, "Who are you?" That's what he said. And that fucking sickened me, though.
You have to tell Adam the response though after he said that, or he asked that. What did you say?
Well, I can't tell you what I said.
You can't tell us. It's AKM Live After Hours.
But he was called by Wayne. He went, "John, your steak's ready." And, you know, and I just looked at her and I went, "Fuck off," you know, because there's nothing there. There was nothing there. And they've been the same ever since.
Yeah.
Everything is in hand. And nothing is in hand. You know what I mean? We still bought no one. And, you know, people think that we bought players, and, you know, which we did, but we had to sell to buy.
Yeah.
You've only got to look at Fernando Torres. I'm going to tell you something now. You know, people have a go at Fernando Torres, and he's come out and told the truth that he's forced out. Everybody knew that. Well, I did anyway. And then Luis Suarez pleaded with the Northern Irish fella, the manager at the time. I don't mention his name. And he said, "Please let me play next season in the Champions League." He said, "No, you're gone. You're going." And who did we get in? Ricky Lambert. Luis Suarez. So they call Luis Suarez for everything. No matter how you look at Luis Suarez, he gives 100% for every single club he plays for.
Yeah.
But he gives 120% for Liverpool. If you know what I mean. He loved He loved the fans. He loved the club. He loved the atmosphere. He loved everything. That man. And you
his daughter was named after Anfield.
That's right.
Yeah. That's, you know, when he's kissing, it's basically Anfield backwards.
It is. And when you look at, you know, like some of the people, some of the supporters, you know, calling him for everything because he left Liverpool. No, he didn't leave Liverpool. He was forced out of Liverpool. And that's the annoying thing. That's the annoying. And I get called negative, by the way.
Nah,
No.
we did, didn't we? Like, literally, like, we weren't even talking that bad about FSG. We were just pointing out stuff like, you know, people give, like, one about the AXA, weren't we saying, like, how people say that they built that? No, they didn't. AXA built it. AXA paid for it and all this other stuff. And someone popped up in comments going, I've something along the lines of, I didn't know that was so negative over here. Have you got nothing positive to say? Something like that. And we were just like, we're just talking facts.
Yeah.
Like, if the facts are negative, it ain't our fault.
Well, I think
I was gonna say on the Torres thing, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was young when he left, but he was like, I've had a few idols when I was a kid because I'm a 90s kid. So I never saw Liverpool win the league until I did it under Jurgen Klopp. And Jurgen Klopp for me is like my Bill Shankly. He's my era as, you know, Bill Shankly basically. But for me, I had Michael Owen when I was younger, and then Fernando Torres was the next player that I was like, we've got one here. Like, he's my man. And I proper loved him. I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. And then when he left, I will always remember that when he left, because I was buying a kitten at the time. And I remember the rumors going around about Suarez, and I looked into him and I was like, oh, could you imagine Torres and Suarez together? That'd be amazing. Oh, I can't wait for this. And the next thing I know, because obviously I knew that there was stuff going on with Torres and the Hodgson stuff, and he'd played rubbish most of that season because he was injured. And then he had that one good game against Chelsea, and then he was gone and he went to Chelsea. And I'm not gonna lie, I turned around and I was like, I can't believe he's done that. Like, that was the last player that ever like broke my heart as a player, as a fan, sorry, leaving. And then going on, it took me about maybe 10 years to actually understand the full story of what had happened behind it all, and the broken promises, and the fact that, you know, he was, as you say, he was kind of forced to go because he was getting into the prime of his years, and he was being told that, you know, it's going to take a few more years to get back to where we're going to be. And he's like, I ain't got a few more years.
Yeah.
So that he left, and that story was never told. And then when me and Seano saw him at the Legends game, that was like a dream come true for me, like seeing Fernando Torres.
Yeah, live. Yeah. The thing is, as well, did you know that they had the same agent?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was his agent who brought Suarez here to Liverpool to play alongside Fernando Torres. Imagine that.
Jesus. But I mean, like, Torres was also lied to by the owners lied to us about Torres, about his injuries. The medics lied to the manager about Torres and his injuries, and it set Torres back. Torres wasn't the same. He lost his pace, you know, wasn't the same at Chelsea. You know, he just was not the same player. So, I mean, he definitely had every reason to be pissed off with Liverpool, but he still loved the club, you know. But,
well, they said that he left on a, how can I put this? On bad terms.
Yeah.
Well, if you're getting forced out of a club, you're bound to leave on bad terms. But it resonated with the fans that he wanted to go. He didn't want to go. It's like Fernando. It's like Luis Suarez didn't want to go. And people don't understand this because, you know, let's do it the Liverpool way. Let's do this. I always remember the man who I won't even name, the manager, you know, and the Northern Irish fella. And he turns around and he was found out, actually. I fucking knew about him anyway. And he said he didn't want Mario Balotelli. He didn't want. 2 weeks later, having said that, 2 weeks later, there was a broadsheet, Steven Gerrard. And in his little column, he said, the Northern Irishman bent over backwards to get Mario Balotelli. There you go. You say so. Everything that was wrong with Liverpool, everything that was broken with Liverpool was, you've only got to go to the 90s, as you said, Adam, you know, you're the 90s lad. We had great players.
Mm-hmm.
We had the likes of Robbie Fowler and Stan Collymore, who scored 53 goals between them in the season, in the one season. 53 goals. Steve McManaman.
I'm going to say that, yeah.
Fantastic, sir. Jamie Redknapp. We had
Yep.
all these lads, unbelievable players. We should have won the league, but we had a very, very weak manager, and that was with Roy Evans.
Yep.
And then Houllier came along.
Yeah, like they want their thing where them two were like co-managers or something.
Yeah.
And you've never seen that anywhere else in football.
There's a great story, and I think it was on Frank's show about the time that I think they were abroad or something like this, and Houllier was like, you know, the players have a routine now. They have to be in bed at a certain time, and he says, right, there's no going out. You're going to the hotel room, and that's it. Roy Evans comes down in all his clobber and whatever, and he's like, what's going on, lads? Oh, Houllier said we have to go to bed early. He's like, get the hell out. And the whole lot of them went, and Houllier wasn't impressed. I think that was on your show, Frank.
It was, yeah. And that's where he told I forget who he told Houllier. He said, I can't work with this man. There's no discipline. And the point was, there wasn't any discipline.
Yeah.
There wasn't any discipline. So that's why you have Phil Thompson. Phil Thompson, one of the most underrated defenders playing for Liverpool, to be honest. He was England captain and everything, you know. Great. He lifted the European Cup. Great defender. And that's why he brought him in. And I know a couple of players, including Robbie, didn't like Phil Thompson because he was a bit of a disciplinarian as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was very rocky, to be honest. And then the Irishman came in. Well, Rafa came in. And when Rafa came, unbelievable what that man did. You know, in his first season, he won the European Cup, the Champions League, with a side that, if you know what I mean.
On paper, you wouldn't have thought anything of that side when they were up against the likes of a fantastic AC Milan side. I mean, where would you get it? I mean, I remember watching that and I'm thinking, the first half, that's it, game, set, and match, you know. But you just don't rule out, as Jurgen Klopp says years later, but because it's you, it's possible. And it's you know, and it was incredible. It was an incredible. I mean, to me, that was I was in a bit of a daze watching that. I felt I wasn't even tuned in. It was that much of a dream. It was incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, I was there. I was actually there.
Were you? Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I wasn't smoking at the time.
I bet you were then.
Right. So, do you know when the penalties came about?
Yeah.
He was right at the back. And I'm standing there like a dope, and my nerves are shattered. I'm seeing this fella smoke, and I ran up to it through this, and I went, "It's a shiggy, mate." And he said, "Yeah." And all these other fellas from everything just came around and "Get a shiggy." And he was totally fucking cheap. He said, "I'm fucking going back." You know, for the penalties. But, you know, that particular game, at half time, these sneaks, these snides, Liverpool supporters, whoever they were, you know, were going out. And even one of them, threw his scarf on the floor. I said, I am mad.
No.
I am mad. And I picked the scarf up and I wrapped it around my head, my neck. Because I don't wear colours, or whatever. And I wrapped it around my neck. And I was shouting at them. I said, get back, you bums, and whatever I was shouting at. And I should have put my Ultra Boy gear on.
Myself and Frank are former Ultra Boys, and when any time Frank curses, I'm blessing him here like this. And if I curse, Frank does the same thing.
Do before I came on, honestly, I said, I won't swear. No, I'll try not. But this is the point. It does really, how can I say this, lads? It gets to you, doesn't it? And there's nothing else that you can say. Well, George Bernard Shaw said, if you say fuck off, say it politely.
It's true, because like going back, Frank, although he may not remember this, but Frank and myself have a little bit of a history, because I did Fenway We Come Not to Pay, as anyone may know, which was, I think, one of the first groups that spoke out about FSG. And Frank, I think, may have reached out to me or whatever. I think you were on the radio show that you were doing at the time. And I think you reached out to me or whatever. But unfortunately, a few other people that we have a common dislike to also reached out to you. So that kind of, but the one thing that I know about Frank is he's passionate, I'm passionate, and it's very, very difficult to kind of take that, kind of, hold on to yourself and not, curse or say anything. And that's why, we have AKM Live After Hours, uncensored and unapologetic, and that's how it is. So you're allowed curse, Frank. You're allowed curse like a sailor.
That's all right. Can I show something? Your
absolutely.
Your viewers, your good lads. I have a fantasy football league thing.
Oh yes.
And I also have a Champions League fantasy league. And what I've given, this is me personally. And what they get for the Champions League, whoever wins it will get this.
Oh wow!
It's the actual program of the final when we played Spurs in Madrid, right? And that's Mo Salah's autograph.
Wow!
So it's signed.
That's so good.
I'm glad the way that he's only showing one prize, because the other prize will be on my wrist. Isn't that right, Frank?
Can I show you it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
go for it. Yeah, show it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
1 second. I'll just go and get it, because
take your time, Frank. Take your time. Yeah, so he has a fantasy football league and a Champions League one. The Champions League wins a signed Champions League final program signed by Mo Salah himself. If anyone gets that, definitely needs to frame it. But this is for the Premier League. I'm actually third in this league, believe it or not. I'm not doing great with the AKM one. I'm actually a lot higher than you are, which is just...
I think I'm not bottom anymore, though. I don't think I'm bottom anymore.
Oh, no, you are. I think you are.
Am I still bottom? No way.
So. Let's just have a look while Frank is looking for his my prize. So as it stands, you are bottom with 6 points. We're just talking, Frank. We have a football fantasy one as well, and AKM, which stands for Adam Knows More, clearly doesn't know too much more, because he's bottom of the table with 6 points.
So
there you go.
Well, you know, it's amazing, isn't it? These fans. I'm not in the thing myself because I'm giving that prize out, as I said, the most solid thing, the actual program of, that's Mo's signature there. Proper signature, not a print, by the way.
No.
By him. And this is for
me.
This is this is for the Premiership fans.
Oh wow!
Look at that.
That's nice. Is that?
It actually looks lovely. It looks better there than it did in the picture. I don't know what you did with your lighting, but it's beautiful.
And that's the back of it. It's all glass and
amazing.
We had a few bob actually. It's not like a little mad thing, and that's the way it is. And it's still got the cellophane on, if you know what I mean. And there's no, like, how can I put this? The cellophane's still on it.
Yeah, not been used.
And that's the way it is. I've wound it up a few times, perpetual motion, and it's a very good prize for someone because there's some smashing lads and girls, on the show.
Yeah.
Anyone can join it, if you don't have to come on the show or anything like that, but you can come into the just subscribe and like and just try and win it.
Well, hopefully we'll get you to the 1,000. I did say that we'd try and get you to the 1K before the Christmas. I don't know how possible that is, but certainly if we can and share subscribers alike. That's the main thing. I think part of AKM LFC is to, and I don't know, and going back to the conversation of kind of the told-the-liners and those who kind of sing off the same hymn sheet as the owners or are told what to say and say it. I think it's up to channels like us that come together, build a community and cement something so that viewers have actually something intelligent to watch rather than sure, aren't our owners great? Sure. I mean, what would you be doing without them? We could have had Gillette and Hicks, or we could have gone into administration. And no matter how many times you say, well, no, we couldn't have, Royal Bank of Scotland would have foreseen the takeover to another bidder.
100%.
No matter how many times you say that, they'll say, oh, we could have gone into administration. We could have had a point deduction.
There's no way a club the size of Liverpool Football Club and as successful as Liverpool Football Club would not have had anybody wanting to buy them. Just like, what was it, 2 years ago now, when they apparently were looking to sell the club and then they couldn't find anybody to buy it. Again, Frank, you're right. The spin toppers that they've got going at the minute, all them plates they're spinning constantly. I don't believe for a second that there wasn't a single person whose ears, when they found out Liverpool Football Club's potentially up for sale, didn't go, yeah, all right, then how much? How much do you want? Like, they'd have had Middle Eastern, they'd have had Far East people, there'd have probably been other Americans as well that probably would have been interested in buying Liverpool.
Robert Kraft, I don't know whether you can verify this, Frank, but as far as I know, Robert Kraft was interested in buying Liverpool Football Club.
The New England Patriots owner.
Yeah,
I think I remember that as well.
He was, yeah. But I don't want any more Americans near our club. I just don't. Even Manchester United fans. This is when Hicks and Gillette was signing. They were saying, "Don't, you're fools for there letting Americans into your club." That's genuine. That. Then when we were selling again, and and these fellas in now, Man United fans were saying, "Don't sell to the Americans again." Mm-hmm. And I agreed with that. I don't want Americans in. I really don't. And that's the way it is, unfortunately. We just bring anybody in. I want someone here who knows about football, who knows the ambition of you, me, and every other Liverpool fan. You know, we want ambitions to win trophies. That's what we're here for. We're Liverpool supporters. We're Liverpool Football Club. We're the most successful British club in world football, to be honest. Look where we are today. And if we don't invest.
Yeah. Can I just ask you a question there? Do you think the expectations of the fans, just forget about Klopp for a minute, do you think the expectations of the fans have lowered after Gillette and Hicks? Were they lowered, or were they managed, or when did football fans become accountants and were more interested in what the owners did and how frugal they are as business people? If you understand that question, I don't know whether you do.
Well, do you mean that the standards? Do you mean that the fans' standards low?
Yeah.
Okay. To be honest, this sounds mad. But I've got low esteem with these owners, and the only low esteem, me personally, is we could have done a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
If there was to be more investment. Now, my expectations when Jürgen left, and I didn't know the Sloot fella from Adam. I never had a clue who he was. And now my expectations, and people will go, well, we're top of the league, we're top of the Champions League. You don't win anything in November.
Yeah.
No. We've always looked at it like that, You never win anything in November, no matter where you are. We're a big club, undoubtedly, one of the biggest clubs in world football. And we haven't got a right to win everything, but we do have a right to invest. And if we don't invest in January, my expectations, they will go down, simply because this fella, Sloot, he won't be able to maintain what he's got now, because they will burn out. And that's been proved over the last few seasons, burning out when we were going after the quad. Mm-hmm. And these lads are, it's all this like saving energy and in a game, if you know what I mean. Slow football, slow builds up and whatever. It's not the rock and roll type heavy metal football that we were used to under the Jürgen Klopp. But that's not going to save your energy. The people who save your energy is new fresh blood. And I'm talking about top quality. I'd love to get this Zubimendi and get another fella named Nkappi, because no matter how you look at Nkappi for Leverkusen, he had Mo, one of the greatest footballers in world football today, in his back pocket, albeit Mo gave the 2 assists for the goals. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Nkappi is a good player. He's a really good player.
But I'd love them to. And I can't say this fella's name. I'm useless. Caryle, whatever his name is. He plays for Napoli on the right wing. He'd be ideal for Liverpool.
Oh, I know you're talking about the Georgian international. I think he plays for Georgia.
Yeah, love him. I love him. Honestly, I love him. He's absolutely, as I said, my grandpa, my granddad, granduncles, they supported Napoli, and a couple supported Inter. So that's why I've got those two. I look at those two every week, when I can. Inter and Napoli.
Do you just on the back of that Napoli player? I think he'd be the perfect replacement for Mo Salah. So, what's your opinion on the contract situation? Do you think any of them stay or?
Yeah, they'll trade him. And I'll tell you for why. And again, it's the business acumen of FSG. These are businessmen. They don't want to lose money on any of them, right? So therefore, if Trent's going, if they're going to sell Trent, listen, if Real Madrid came in tomorrow and said we'll give you the 150 million for Trent, as long as he can come to us in January, they will sell.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, give us the money, you can have them. This is what they're like. So therefore, next summer, they'll have the contracts will be signed. And if they want to go, if anyone comes in with big money for either Mo or both with a Trent, they'll sell. That's what they're like. And that's why, because they just see dollar signs over there, those players' heads. They're not going to allow them to go for free, especially Trent and Mo. No way.
Players go on the free. I mean, we've seen Milner, who wanted to stay at the club. Klopp wanted to stay at the club. We've seen Bobby. We've seen Genie, who wanted to stay at the club, wasn't given the contract. So we have seen this, and we've also seen with FSG, they tend not to offer contracts to anyone that's over a certain age. I mean, when you look at the likes of Trent, okay, he doesn't fit into that category. But when you look at the likes of Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah, are we not in danger of losing these guys on the free?
Yeah. It's all. Look, I'm just looking at it as an ordinary Liverpool football fan. But I'm also looking at FSG and the greed of FSG. You know, these owners who don't take any money out the club. I'm looking at them. And as Adam said before, you know, look at the brand of Liverpool. You know, the merchandise and everything. Of course, FSG don't take any money from that.
Oh, of course.
No, they don't take any money. Isn't it strange, though? Every single item that's sold in the Asian market and the European market of Liverpool football merchandise, how much do you think comes into Liverpool Football Club? One guess.
I would guess, based on the fan base we've got over in Asia, I reckon probably it's going to be a small amount, like 10, 15% or something. Brilliant.
What about you, Seano?
I would have probably said 20%, 15, 20%.
Another brilliant guess. Totally wrong, the Perriers.
Really?
Not one penny.
What?
It goes straight to FSG. The only time that they'll get the money is when we sell in this country. I know that for a fact.
You heard it. See, this is why, ladies and gentlemen, that you should subscribe to Frank Caryle. For the love of God, get him to 1,000. Honest to Christ. I did not know that. That's a...
Yeah, just a penny doesn't go into Liverpool. It goes straight to Fenway Sports.
And then, of course, we have this
portfolio of sports. Can get on golf. Don't forget. Do you ever remember when we spent 240 million? We were screaming out for midfielders.
Yeah.
This is while, you know, our midfielders were injured, and they had to, and our half-backs as well. When the likes of Nat Phillips and the Lone E Kabak were playing, we were screaming out. And they spent 240 million on a baseball player.
This is bringing back so many memories of videos I've done in the past where that season when we won the
league.
Was it the treble? Did we? I don't know if we win a treble under Klopp, did we? We did, didn't we? Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the prize money alone, not even like anything else that came in that season, like the prize money alone was in the hundreds of millions of pounds. And we were like, and ahhing about, oh, can we afford a midfielder?
It's true, it's true. But do you ever remember, and it's the same as last summer, like coming into the summer, you know, the end of the season, the end of every season, there's a war chest, a summer war chest. Do we ever see the summer war chest? No. And people still believe it. And coming up to the end of this season, summer war chest, and people believe it.
Yeah, there's so much clickbait. There's so much clickbait, Frank, and I'm sure you've seen it and are absolutely fed up listening to it. Huh?
It's horrible, the clickbait.
It's dreadful.
You even have them on other pods. I never throw up a title. I just never do. You know, it's so easy for me to put up a podcast and say, you know, like, I'm sorry, a title saying Zubermendi, ? Exclamation mark. So easy to do that. Or that that Napoli fella. I'd love to put his name up. It'll be spelt wrong and everything. They'll go, who's he?
If you can get the pronunciation right, that's one thing. If you can spell it, that's another.
Fancy learning a song, you know, like, you know, we learn songs and sing songs about our great players. I don't fancy trying to get one for them.
But I mean, that's the thing with, like, on this channel, like, I mean, obviously, you know, we do talk about what's out there and what we believe to be absolute bullshit and what we believe isn't bullshit. What's that?
That's the player's name.
Right.
Yeah, that's him.
I'll have a consonant there, please, Carl. What the hell is that? But yeah, I'm glad you typed that in. I wouldn't have guessed that. I wouldn't. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I googled it and then copied it over.
He would be great, you know, in all seriousness. He'd be a fantastic acquisition, to be honest.
Yeah.
He would.
I don't know if you've, stupid question, but I was just going to ask, like, what's your thoughts on this David Coote stuff? And then the other video that's come out today. Have you seen the second video that's come out today?
No, I haven't actually.
He's there's a video of him snorting cocaine, let's just say, and it's like him again.
Do you know what though? What's sicking me? It's like you know, derogatory words against
Liverpool,
different nationalities, because what we got, you know, in America, and has even resonated over here for a while. I come from an Italian background on my mother's side, and anyway, when in Liverpool, these American migrants, you know, these custom fellas said to these in Liverpool, can you do something? Because, you know, it's taking days when a boatload of people come in, shipload of people, and we don't know where they are, you know, and we're asking for papers and passports. And so what we did in Liverpool, our customs, we put on labels with WOP on, right, with our passport. And so we put them on here in Liverpool. So when they boarded the ships and sailed to America, the customs over there they were made up, because they just said, you get over there, you get, and you lot get here. And, you know, for the people with the papers. So that's how it was. So the derogatory came with Italians. And, you know, you're nothing but dirty, stinking spick wops. And that's the way it was. and I forgot my train of thought. To be honest.
We were just talking about the referee, David Coote. Like,
Oh yeah. That's thank you. Saved my life there. People are going, "Ah, the fuck's it?"
apparently, just to give you a bit more information about this this second video, because I'm just looking at it now. It basically says that he was doing this while working at the Euros this year, or last year, Euro 2024.
Wow, that's something else. But when he called Jurgen Klopp, you know, he could have just said Jurgen is a C, you know, fine, you know, okay, yeah, he's a C. But once he said German, every German national as being a C, a German C. I follow a certain stream political, you know, because I don't follow the you know the Western media. It's all full of propaganda and misinformation and disinformation, everything. Anyway, what it is, this fella, I subscribe to this fella, some American, only young fella. Oh, he's good, this fella, so I subscribe to him. And he turned around and said, just all of a sudden, he went, England, you know, I don't want to go over to England. There's nothing there, you know, it's just there. And we all know that they're a nation of inbreds.
Ooh.
I went, oh, you know, so this is what I mean, you know, about what he said about the Germans. Now, you can understand why Jurgen Klopp always had a go at the referees and even at the press. One good thing, I was at Hillsborough. So I've got a big. I refused the gong, by the way, you know, one of these like thing from the establishment. I didn't want that off. Anyway, you've got all this expectancy of bowing down to these people, if you know what I mean. And I don't bow down to anybody. I just say it as it is. And when it's concerned about Liverpool Football Club and our fans, every fan, I've always said to you, Seano, haven't I embrace our global fan base. I do. My daughter went to Francine, you know, Big Red. She went in the Anfield Road stand. And, you know, poor Enzo, he was injured. It was only last season, and he was injured, right? And all these Japanese, loads of Japanese came over to see him. So they were all in the corporate, and our Francine was behind them, right? In the cheap seat, she was behind them. And she said, you know what, they were all there, they were all made up, and Enzo wasn't playing, but they were cheering on. And I said, I bet they all had Enzo shirts on then, you know, Enzo name. He said, no, Sabozlai.
Yeah.
He only must have been Sabozlai shirts.
Yeah.
They all had Sabozlai on. Everyone on them.
But that's a good point, though. I mean, what I've noticed, especially with, and again, you know, going back to the David Coote thing and what he called Jurgen Klopp, we're bending the knee against racism every kickoff. You know, it has, you know, on the referees' badges, no to racism or stand up against racism and all of this. We've seen a lot of xenophobic comments been made on YouTube and whatever, you know, oh, these are day trippers, or these are wolves, or these are, you know, not real fans, whatever. We don't know. It cost them an arm and a leg to get over from where they live to get over to a match. It cost me an arm and a leg to get over to a match, and I'm only 45 minutes away from Liverpool. But the one thing that is evident, and something that was talked about on your show there, is that this video that has come out was known about for years.
Yes.
For years. And they kept it quiet. And David Coote was told that he couldn't referee a Liverpool game from 2022 to 2024. And now with this, I haven't seen the video of him allegedly doing Class A drugs or anything like that. I saw pictures of it. I did see him pictures of himself and a few friends with a few how would I say it, ladies of the night, alleged ladies of the night. So this guy kind of courts with controversy, but I think, you know, we're all looking. The problem that we have now, Frank, and I think Adam, you'll agree, is once you have something that is against Liverpool, you then have the horrible, hurtful stuff. Always the victims. They'll bring up Heysel. I've seen comments already online regarding that. I mean, how do you clamp that out? How do you get rid of that, Frank?
Well, I
just give me a minute, lads. I've just got to go check my door. I think someone's at the door. I'll be back in a minute. You guys keep going.
Okay.
Sure.
To be honest, Seano, I said a long time ago, because you're getting you're getting this and you're getting that, you know, the push and everything else, and these horrible chants. And I put in a suggestion to LFC. I just said ban them. If they come at whatever, if we're playing, you know, at the weekend and they start, whoever they are, just ban them for the next season. Just ban them.
I'd ban them for life.
No, but my suggestion was, you know, just ban them. And if they do it again the season after, you know, ban them for next season. If they do it the same, then ban them for life. That's what.
Are you talking about the fans that do it, that are caught doing it, or are you talking about the actual? Let's say, and I'm not honing in on United, but let's say if United fans are caught doing that, United fans.
No, it's any fans, because
any fans. But what I'm saying is that if they are playing away in Anfield, have we lost Frank? Oh yeah.
No, my bad. I missed it. Sorry.
If we're playing away, or if they're playing away and they're playing in Anfield, and if they're caught doing that, are you saying ban them from going any of their home or any of their fans going to Anfield? Is that what you're saying for the season?
Yeah.
All of them. Yeah. Okay.
All of them. A lot of them.
Yeah.
And that will cut us out, because their clubs do nothing. And do you know who's a terrible culprit for it? Everton.
Yeah.
You know, every season.
Yeah.
And we were getting this, we were getting that, and nothing was done. Yeah. Absolutely zilch was done about it. And it was shocking.
It's getting really bad. It's getting really bad.
Well, you know, it's I don't
for me, it's a society thing for me. Like, not to like go into a completely different thing, but today with the way society is and how soft everyone is handled, shall we say, by certain things, a lot more stuff is just allowed to happen. If that makes sense, do you know what I mean? Because there's no consequences anymore.
No.
Like,
no.
I've got 2 stepkids, and the stuff that I'm finding out that I am not allowed to say about them anymore from school is unreal. I got told I wasn't allowed to say they are naughty kids anymore. I was like, what?
Almighty save us.
But you know what? I said one day to my daughter, I said, all this wokeness, I said, I don't like it, you know, in no uncertain terms. I said to her, you know, I don't like woke. She said, you can't say that no more, Dad. Now, I've got a 12-year-old granddaughter, their daughter it is, and she's being fed all this nonsense. So here's what I said to Francine. Here's what I said. I said, just imagine, Francine, you're at the baths, you know, because she loves swimming. I said, so you take her to the baths, and she wants to go to the toilet, and a big fella walks in with her, unisex. Would you like that? She said, no. I said, well, there you go. I said, you know, you can't have it both ways. This is wokeness. They're going to have unisex toilets and whatever. I said, that's the way it's going now. I said, so you could have someone walking in. Someone could be behind you as you go to the toilet, a fella. I was in a bloody mate of mine said to me, will you meet me at a certain pub in town? And I went, oh, fuck off. I said, I'm not going in there. So he said, oh, go on. I said, oh, okay then. I said, I will. I said, but don't be long. I said, I'm not standing in there waiting for you. So, okay. So I'm standing there like a lemon. So I decided to go for a pee. Right.
I know where this is going.
This person walks in, right, and pulls up a dress. And there's, you know, and he's having a burst. It's a fella in a
good way.
Opposite. And, you know, that upset, you know, that frightened me, to be honest. If you know, he fucking stood next to me, having a burst, looking at him, you know.
But then you have like the other extreme now, where like it's almost acceptable to, like, I mean, I don't know whether you watched the Gary Neville or the comments about David Coote.
Oh my god! I was going to ask you. That was going to be my next thing. Like, sorry, Sean, I don't want to. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I didn't watch all of it, but
I was just going to say, like,
it's complete bias.
Gary Neville, for me, should no longer, even when they're playing Man United, he should no longer have anything to do with coverage, commentary, or anything with Liverpool, because he, in them comments that when he talks about the David Coote stuff, he sounds so biased. Again, it's unreal. He basically says, just to summarize what he says, he goes, "There's nothing in them comments that makes me think that he made decisions against Liverpool." That was the long and short of what he said. And I'm like, how can you not put two and two together, Gary? How can you listen to them comments, right, when you've already seen the decisions that he's done over the years, and they're all questionable?
And cost us a title, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And even probably you yourself, if you look back at his when there's his Monday Night Football thing and he breaks it all down, I bet if you were to look back on them, especially maybe the Rodri handball, for instance, the Virgil van Dijk injury that was never given as a red card,
the handball by Odegaard.
Yeah, the handball by Odegaard. I bet if we look back on it, I bet
could show that, you know, because he actually handled it and pushed it away.
He pushed it,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Remember the excuse or the spin or whatever you want to call it, and he said he was falling over. Was he falling over? Because he never went on the floor.
Yeah. If you were to look back at all the breakdown coverage of what Gary Neville said after them moments, I guarantee you he would have questioned it. Now, taking that into context with the comments about Liverpool, how can you not turn around and say that there's no bias there? There obviously is.
But not even the comments about that. How can you watch that video, right, and take on board that he called Jurgen Klopp a German "see you next Tuesday"?
Exactly.
And then say, I didn't see anything, you know, in those comments. How can you turn around and say that?
And Liverpool SHIT as well.
Yeah. So not only are you
Scousers.
Yeah,
Scousers.
Scousers as well. Yeah,
Scousers are bell ends, and that's what your man said. Scousers are bell ends, and Jurgen Klopp is a German, you know what?
Yeah.
Now, to me, if Alex Ferguson was called a Scottish, you know what, and Manx were called whatever. Well, I mean, even saying Manx is a derogatory word in itself, but that's
It is, yeah.
kind of a term of whatever, bit of banter. But to say the people from Manchester or Manchester United fans are whatever, Manchester what C's or S's or whatever you want to call them, that would be a racist remark. And it's not that we're woke, it's not that we're sensitive, it's not that we're anything else. It is when you put a nationality or a city in front of something else, it is a racist remark.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like as well, you can't separate the two issues either. Like going back to the comments and the decision, they're one and the same now for me. Like when I saw the video and then I saw the pictures of all the the incidents where he'd gone against Liverpool, even the one against Salah at the weekend, he was already blowing for a not a foul, and it was like and Bailey had took out Salah. I would have loved to have seen what would have happened with that if Nunes had missed, which I kind of thought he was going to do anyway. But like, if Nunes...
can I come in there? There's my take on that. Now, think about the thing, right? Think about it. Salah was brought down. He had to run. I'm talking about Darwin. He had to run right across, pick the ball up, bring it into the area, go wide in the area, and shoot. Think about that. Salah was brought down. He should have blown for a foul and sent that player off, but he fucking didn't. He went, not play on, not that. That's the sign, play on, advantage. That never occurred.
No, he was like this.
He was saying no foul.
No foul. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, if Darwin was a missed that, it would have been a goal kick, or the goalie would have saved it, and it would have been back to normal. That would have been it. And we would have been talking about it tonight. But he knew. Now, I said on my pod last night, Adam, didn't I, Seano? And I said to George, this lovely man who Shankly signed, the lost Shankly boy. And I said, you're a professional footballer, I said, was that a foul? And he said, yeah. I said, should he have been sent off? He said, yeah. I said, okay. Should he have refereed? No. Okay. Do you think that the people, the FA, knew about this particular video that was coming out, and yet they still have fucking appointed him to play that game? Liverpool, I'm there.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is that if so, I mean, we know that this other guy that was in the video, Ben Kitt, he's been suspended from his job at the moment.
Yeah.
Also, David Coote has been suspended and under investigation off a video they already fucking knew about 2 or 3 years ago. They already knew about the video. So on the basis of that and the other stuff that is coming in, which, as I said, I've been working the whole day. I haven't seen much or whatever. On the basis of all that, is it fair to say that not only David Coote's head should roll, but also Howard Webb?
Of course.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
Absolutely. He's the head of this pig mill.
Yeah.
He's in charge of all the referees, and he knows all about it. And don't forget, he's a Manchester United fan as well.
Yeah. They all are. I think there was not all of them, that's a lie. I think there was something that said that 90% of the referees that are from the Northwest are all affiliated with Man United or Man City.
Yeah. It's just nuts. It's
crazy.
To me, it's corrupt, to be honest. It's corrupt.
I know that we had on Monday night stream, AKM Live, we had one of our followers, Scott Cheatham, who has his own podcast as well, Health and Fitness. Health and Fitness, what's it called? Health and Fitness podcast.
I can find out. I'll find out.
Yeah,
I can't
find
remember
that.
exactly what it's called.
It's a fantastic. Myself, Martin, and Adam have been both on. All three of us have been on it separately.
Have you got to do exercises like?
No.
Jesus, no. Do I look like I've done exercises, Frank? Or only my jaw. Only when I'm talking.
It's called the SC Health and Fitness Podcast.
SC Health and Fitness Podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, basically he's a kind of a health and fitness guy, but he talks about football, the importance of fitness, which I had no say in because I'm not fit, and just football today. But he made the point, and I don't know what your take on this is, Frank, of this. Well, I mentioned that the whole PGMOL needs to be disbanded completely. And he said, and I think you agree to this, Adam, that they should bring in referees overseas to officiate Premier League games. What's your take on that?
Well, I was being asked time and time again, even before all this nonsense, because of VAR and because of bad refereeing. There are some terrible referees in this country, really bad, in the Premiership especially. And what I said, we should be bringing in from the continent. That's who we should be bringing in. And I gave the example of Danny McAlelly, the Dutch referee for the Liverpool, the Leverkusen game. And he was absolutely first class. Mm-hmm. Absolutely first class. And there was no running up to him and arguing. None of that. He just go, whoa, that's it, go away. And that's Danny. And I've seen him refereeing a few games for Liverpool. And every referee I've seen, continental referee that is from Europe, they're all first class. Well, they seem first class to me compared to these lot here.
Yeah, like there was the referee from, I think it was like the 90s, early 90s. The bald referee, I can't remember what his name is now.
Chiellini.
Yeah, he was insane. Like he put the fear of God in play.
You did not take shit from him.
But there's been a few of ones over the past few years as well. Like I think his name's like Wolf or something. He was a good referee from Eastern Europe or something like that, I think. There's one right now from Turkey who's really good.
Kasia or someone like that it is.
Yeah. I mean,
you've got brilliant.
You've got the Saudi Pro League out there that's doing foreign referees, shall we say. We're supposed to be the best league in the world. Why don't we have the best refs in the world? Like, when VARs come in, for me, it's ruined the game because it's not automated. Like, when they brought in goal line technology, that's automated. They've got a watch on the wrist. If it goes over the line, it buzzes. So they don't have to make a decision. But with this VAR stuff, it's still humans looking at an image, making the decision. Like, and communicating with each other. All you got to do is look at that Luis Diaz goal against Tottenham last year.
Yeah.
The communication breakdown around that, like, how did that happen? Like, for instance, my job, if we've got a communication breakdown, there is consequences. Like, them lads were just sat there going, check complete, yeah. Oh shit, he give a free. Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Like, like, what do you mean? Like, what are you on about? Like, they should have been taught a clear line of communication. They should have a script that they say. They should literally have a script for each thing that they have to say. It shouldn't be like the lads on a phone having a conversation.
No.
It's a professional thing that's worth sport. The sport is worth billions, like worldwide. It's worth billions, if not trillions. It might be even worth trillions. I don't know. But and you've got lads just sat there as if they sat at a pub going, is he offside? Well, I don't know. What do you think? Let's draw these lines. Oh, I can't keep my hand can't stay steady. I can't keep these lines straight. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. They need to do what they did at the Qatar World Cup and bring that one in where it's semi-automatic.
But I think, and I don't know what your take on that, Frank, is that the issue is not the technology. It's not, the screens. It's not the rules. It's down to the officiating and the biased officiating and the corruption within the PGMOL and the Premier League. It has nothing to do with. We've been looking for the solution and thinking, well, maybe the rules need to change, and maybe the offside needs to be changed, and maybe handball, the rule on that needs to be altered a little bit. It needs to be a little bit clearer. Since when were the rules of football? When did that become unclear? It's really a case now where if something happens in that box, you don't really know what's going to happen. That's how bad the officiating is. And I don't think that that's down to VAR. I don't think it's down to the rules. It's down to bias officiating.
I agree there, but I'd just get rid of VAR once and for all. I think it's a menace. I think too many people now know that it's controversial, and if they just say for one season alone, they took away everything, every VAR, everything, and just played the game the way it should be played, and see how it goes from then on. That season, just one season, and if it's better back to the old days before VAR, and then still keep the goal line technology, because that is good, but that's the only thing to keep, and just for one season to see how it goes, and then ask the people, ask the clubs, do you prefer this, and see what they say.
Yeah, I think it's all well and good talking about this in hindsight. I can't see the Premier League or the PGMOL disbanding or even wanting to lose control of the league and then bring in referees abroad. I can't see that happening. I think we can all dream. I think that's the only way of sorting out this problem, I think, because I don't know about you, Frank or Adam, looking at that video was kind of like, right, now that's the icing on the cake. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. This is now going to be a snowball effect, hopefully. And other clubs are going to look at this. Well, okay, if he's being openly biased towards them, there must be referees that are biased towards us.
Yeah,
because we've heard it all before.
Of course, and that's the way it is. That's what I mean about. It'll be great just to, as I said, stop VAR for one season and bring in continental referees, because the referees here, the only referee I like, but I think he's a bit now corrupted, to be honest, because he went over to referee in Saudi Arabia, and he was guest of whoever it was that belongs to Manchester City, and that's Michael Oliver.
Yeah. This David Coote was one of them referees also that went over there. He was also one that made that journey.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where he'll go in the end. I think they'll just say to him, listen, you might as well go over there, because they're all mates, Every one of them are friends, and that's why they were having a laugh.
Yeah.
You can imagine all the, that Seano fella. Now, he was on VAR, wasn't he, against the Aston Villa game?
Yeah.
He was on VAR. And, if it would have gone to him, well, I don't know. I just don't know anymore. Baffles me.
Frank, what do you think is the outcome of this, or what would be a suitable outcome for Coote? What would you do if you had to say on what happens with David Coote now?
Well, he can't referee anymore. That's it. You know, I'm not saying sack him or whatever. I'm not saying that. It's not for me to say. But he should never referee another football game again, ever.
I agree.
That goes for any division, any league.
Yeah,
any country.
Yeah.
I don't think he can referee in England ever again.
But you look at Man City, Adam, Sean. Look at those. You know, has anything been done to them? No, nothing. Up to now, nothing at all has been done. Mm-hmm. Nothing's been done about Chelsea either. You know, so if you think that there's no corruption in football in today's Premiership, you know, then I think people need to let their heads wobble a little bit, to be honest.
100%.
I think, you know, especially with, you know, the integrity of football, I mean, it's in disarray. And I think for the integrity of football, there needs to be massive changes, especially after this. This doesn't just affect Liverpool, it affects all clubs. And if anyone thinks that this is just the Scousers being the Scousers, they need to give their head a wobble. That's my view.
Absolutely.
That's what I said in my video. I said this is not a Liverpool thing. This is a wider league thing now. He's a referee that's been caught doing this. How many other ones? Well, I don't care if they're saying whatever they're saying in private, but it's the decisions at the same time that come with it that ruin the integrity of the game. Like, as I said, it's supposed to be the best league in the world, and you've got referees reffing the game that are biased.
Do you reckon, can I ask you lads something?
Yeah.
You know, Perry's, whoever wants to answer, or Perry's answer. Do you think Klopp does himself no favours by running up to the referees and arguing in the face?
Yeah.
You never see that by, you know, you see the likes of, you know, whoever it is, manager, you know, arguing, but in a distance, you know, going, oh, go away, you know, that was a foul or whatever. Why didn't you send him off? Whatever. But Klopp was right up to the faces.
Yeah.
And really giving it the verbal.
I think that Klopp is a very
emotional,
passionate man. And I think there was times where it got the better of him. You even got to look at the celebrations as well when he smashed his glasses that time with Adam Lallana. Like, it's another one of them, but it's a negative, I guess, where, you know, even like in your day job, say like you sat there and you've got a customer or whatever, and you do something wrong, and they're just literally here in your face, giving your dogs abuse. I think you would be thinking in that moment, you'd be like, I'm just doing my job, mate. Like, chill out. Like, what you doing? Do you know what I mean? It can be very aggressive. I know for a fact if someone got in my face like that, well, I'll be straight up honest with you. I used to be a referee, not professionally like these, but I used to ref. But the dogs abuse I used to get from the fans, the players, the coaches, everything. I jacked it in. I thought it ain't worth it. It's not worth the stress. It got to the point where I'm not ashamed to admit this. Before I quit, I started getting anxiety, thinking like, what's my night going to be tonight?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So on that scale, when you've got tens of thousands of fans shouting at you, you've got, you know, Jurgen's quite a big man, like he's 6 foot odd, like in your face, giving you bears abuse. Like, yeah, he probably didn't do himself any favors in all fairness. Yeah. To answer that question, yeah.
Because I used to say at the time, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
but
you just see the referees, the fourth referee especially, he's right up to them, right in the face.
I don't think he was all that bad, if I'm honest with you guys. I have to take a different view on that. If you remember Ferguson, he was like right up there, and then so were the other players. And I mean, there was no other player or manager that could front and could follow the officials as much as United did under Fergie. There was no one else.
They're all Man United fans. So
Exactly. But my point
forget.
is that when you're looking at like, first of all, they have their meetings, once every year about football, about the changes, about how the league can change for the better or whatever, what they're hoping for, yada yada yada. So they're well used to having meetings with the referees and whatnot. But the issue that you have here is that Klopp has seen 90 minutes of officiating that's below standard, that could cost, like, a point could cost him a league. Dropping 2 points could cost him the league. It could be the difference between silverware or not. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think, when you're in the when that adrenaline rush is there, and someone has made you're in a competitive sport, you're naturally going to go over and say, well, what the hell's that about? And you have every right to question someone that is officiating a game that your team are involved in. I don't think there's any problem with it. I don't think that he's done any harm. And I mean, I would be the first one, if I felt he did, to say, oh, come on, Jurgen. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we've already seen Slot been given 2 yellow cards for giving it, socks to the officials. So I mean,
that second one though apparently was like a mistake. Like when he came out after the game, he went, I wasn't even talking to the ref, I was talking to Kanate.
Yeah, but the problem is that are the officials so goddamn high and mighty that you cannot question them? You can't say anything in the press conference. You can't say anything online. You can't say anything about the officiating of that game. You're going to be questioned about it in how many press conferences. So why not go up to the person that has made the mistakes, in your opinion, and say, well, what was that about? So that you have a better understanding. I would have done the exact same. Well, I probably would have punched him, but I don't think Klopp did anything wrong in approaching him. I don't think there's any justification in Coot, in the officiating that he's done. It's below standard. He should not be officiating a beach ball team or a match or whatever. He just shouldn't. And that's my view on it.
Well, did you know that Klopp? Do you ever remember when he first came? And when he scores, he always runs down the running track, and he's doing all this and jumping up in the air, and for a few seasons.
Yeah.
And did you know that he was told to stop that?
Was he? Doesn't surprise me.
Because it was inciting the fans.
But Mourinho did it.
Just told to stop. So that's the way.
Yeah.
So he ran up to referees instead.
But my point is that they are not held accountable or responsible for any of the decisions. You cannot question their decisions. So if you're saying that Jurgen can't go over and have a quick word with them after the game, then where did they get the opportunity? They don't get to do it, in a press conference or after the game, because if they say anything about the officiating, they get fined. And that's the frustrating thing. And when you have bad officiating, and since VAR has come in, it's gotten worse. And it doesn't just affect Liverpool, it affects Wolves. Wolves have come out and said something, they got fined. Nottingham Forest, have been affected. they said something and they got fined. They brought up one of the linesmen supported a team that they were playing against. I think that's the and they brought that to the PGMOL, and it was rejected. So that's my view on it, lads. I don't mean to disagree with you, but I think they have.
No, it's good. We know, Seano, we allow all opinions on here, and like, we have disagreements on like the live streams as well, so it's all good, man.
Censored and unapologetic.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like a dissertation there. That comment was like a dissertation.
Frank, we've nearly taken 2 hours of your time, so I want to kind of end this on a bit more of a positive note, I guess, or shall we? It could be a positive depending on how you answer the question. So my final question for you is, based on what you've seen so far, and I know you've said you don't win nothing in November, what are your hopes on a successful season, shall we say? And if there's any sort of grounds for concern, what do you need to improve for Liverpool to have a successful season?
Excellent question, actually. The thing is, my concern is January. Right? If we invest in at least 2 players in January, 2 top quality players, forget the fees and all this, and invest in them, get our 3 lads to sign, because my concern is that these lads will sign contracts, and then the owners and the likes of these little podcasters who I don't like, and the likes of the writers, for Liverpool Football Club, will say they're like 3 new signings. And anybody. That's my big concern, my major concern. Where we are today is unbelievable, and we can carry on. We can carry on the momentum going right through to next May. And can we win a trophy? Yes, we can win a trophy. But I want one of the 2, or possibly the 2 big ones, and that's the Premiership and the Champions League. I love the Champions League. I really love that. My point is, to end it all, is that we have to invest to keep this momentum going in January. That's it. That's the concern.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I agree. We need to invest in the January window. I think we need another midfielder. As mad as that sounds, of how many we've already got, and I kind of also think we need either a centre back or somebody who can play centre back and left back, as you mentioned earlier in Hikape. Someone in that mould, Inacio, someone like that who can do a bit of everything. But yeah, thanks again, Frank. Thanks for your time. This is obviously the first AKM After Hours video. Seano, thanks for jumping on with me as always. Frank's channel is going to be down in the description, guys. Make sure you all subscribe over to him over there. And yeah, hope you all have enjoyed this video, and we'll be back with another episode of the AKM After Hours sometime soon. Thanks, Frank. Thank you for jumping on, Frank, and thank you, Seano, also.
It's been great, honestly, lads. It really has.
Thank you, Frank. I don't know how we're going to do any better than you after this. I really don't.